Getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from wherever you are watching. Welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting for Round 4 of XSLR Season 10. Tonight is the final round of the Oval, Asphalt Oval Series, and we are racing ARCA Menards cars around the Talladega Super Speedway. I'm Adam Thomsen, and joining me again this week and running the cameras is Ron Maunz. And tonight, Ron, we are at the speed palace of the world, the Talladega Super Speedway, where the party gets going. And of course, well, the crashes are bigger.
Yeah, the crashes are big, the speeds are big. This is a track that is synonymous, frankly, with the word big. When NASCAR first rocked up here all the way back in 1969, everybody just commented on how large this place was. It is a mecca of speed. It is just... You gotta be a speed demon to do well here in these racers, looking to do well in the fourth round of the championship after a clean start to the races, running perfectly caution-free all the way through the first 3 races of the season. We're looking to keep that rolling here at Talladega, but in this race that lies ahead, that may be a little bit easier said than done.
Yes, it is. This 2.5 mile super speedway, of course, a old airfield in just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, in the town of there, and it is called Talladega. It is an interesting small town in the woods of Alabama. Fantastic. They love this race. They love this racetrack. And just right across the street, just down the road a little ways, you can get to the Talladega Short Track Dirt Track Oval, which is a tiny little dirt track oval that the World of Outlaw late models and sprint cars have been to. So obviously one of those great areas of racing. I personally have been here. One of my all-time favorite memories that I have had in my life. I will always remember going here for the rest of my life. And of course, Tyler Reddick was the winner of that race. Qualifying has started, and tonight, a big storyline, the return of the head of XSLR, Adam Thomsen, the Wet Thomsen, has returned from his super secret mission out of the country. And he is out there first in qualifying. And looks like everybody but Jake Ham, last week's winner, is out there. And of course, last week, lapped the entire field at Bristol Motor Speedway. So first lap here for Mr. Thomsen in the 244 machine. Will be interesting to see how he acclimates here after a few weeks off of iRacing. And, of course, in this ARCA Menards car, and this being the final race, you would have to say, unless he performs big over the next few races, well, he may not be in contention for a possible championship that he is longing for. Now, what's interesting about doing qualifying around Talladega, well, you don't want to just immediately use your first lap on the inside. You want to build up that momentum. You want to get up to that higher side. So Adam Thomsen's first lap will be significantly slower, as we see Kevin Irwin first time on the board of a 54.5. Thomsen goes with a 55.1. Brad Cathcart a 54.591. Dylan Vos a 55.0. Corey Patton, who raced here last Sunday, 54.6. Derek Folk a 54.6, and Matt Last quick time with a 54.533. Everybody now getting on to their second laps. And so you can see where the guys are coming from. Most of them are starting on that higher side. Those are the guys starting about those qualified on the 55s. As Joshua Sushi goes with a 54.535. Tyler Coates, a quick time lap with a 54.529. And there is a great shot with the gyro through the high banks of Talladega. And yes, they are very steep. I have seen those banked corners up close and personal. I'm not kidding you. They are tall. Brad Cathcart finishing up his second lap with a 54.591. Let's see where Adam Thomsen ended up. He ends up with a 54.590. Derek Folk, he will gain some positions here with a 54.616. Jake Ham's first lap time of 55.082. As Jason Greider goes quick time with a 54.489. What a lap there from Jason Greider, who has struggled in the oval section. And Colin Finland goes with a 54.467, goes quick time. Tyler Coates can't meet it with a 54.484. And Tyler Brown, a 54.539. He moves into 6. Where does Jake Ham? Let's go to him. He is going to be the one to watch out for. Can Jake Ham find that quick time? He's on his final lap. See here, he's coming through the tri-oval. Now you got to remember the start-finish line is not in the tri-oval. It's actually past the tri-oval, just down the racetrack a little ways. And he crosses the line, and he goes 6th fastest with a 54.535. Doesn't get the quick time pull, but if there's anything about Jake Ham, he is going to be up towards the front in a matter of no time. But our qualifying is all said and done here. Everybody's put in 2 laps, and your quick time pole position is going to be Colin Finland with a 54.47. In the Mustang, of course, these ARCA cars, the draft is going to be very important to keep up with the pack. This is pack racing. You know, you're not going to see a lot of, you're not going to make up any time. Of course, the way that these newer cars work compared to the older car is obviously the body shape and the aerodynamics of these. The very first time when I went to Talladega last spring was the first time an ARCA Menards race went from green to checker without a caution for a wreck or anything. They only had the competition caution, which is incredible because generally it's not that great. It's usually a wreck fest at a super speedway.
Is a little bit surprising. I know over the past couple of years, Talladega actually been a little bit tame compared to how it usually is. That's quite surprising, but I think we have got a starting grid to take a look at here, Adam.
Yes, we do. Let's take a look here. Colin Finland, your pole position with Tyler Coates on his outside. Jason Grider, the 552 with Joshua Sushi in the 29. Row 3 will be Matt Lassen on his outside. The points championship leader, the 85 of Jake Ham. And Tyler Brown, Kevin Irwin will make up row 4. Finishing off the top 10, the return of Adam Thomsen and starting in 9th. And Brad Cathcart, the resident Aussie, starting in 10th.
Then looking outside the top 10, we got Andy Kosick in the number 50 car starting this race in P11. Right alongside him will be Derek Folk in the 78 car. Rounding at your 15 car starting grid is going to be Dylan Vose and Corey Pan in P13 and P14. And my old Weekend Warriors pal, Mr. Charles Shell, rounding out the back of the grid starting this race in P15. Charles actually not too far away from this track. His hometown track is actually Barber, the IndyCar and sports car track down there in Birmingham. But I believe he has been to Talladega before. I think I remember him telling me a story about him going with his son. And we'll have to see what Charles can do, as I think they're now officially rolling here on this warm-up lap.
Yes, here we go. Pace truck is out. All 15 cars lined up. Charles Bocheldi, or AKA Slow Trickle. Yes, he actually lives within the Birmingham area. So he's a big IndyCar guy. So he's been to Barber, which is again right outside of Birmingham, Alabama. Which is, if you've never been to Barber, or even if it's not for like a race or anything, they have a very awesome museum, the Barber Vintage Museum. Lots of different cars and bikes and stuff like that. So a highly recommended tourist thing to do if you're in the Birmingham, Alabama area. Of course, Talladega is its own monster. Not only is it a 2.5 mile speedway, but you have parties within the infield. You have this ginormous parking area. It's free parking for anybody who's coming to the racetrack, but people camp in that area. They just pull up in their campers, they'll mow the lawn around it, and they'll sit there and drink and party all weekend long at Talladega. Cars are lined up here. Of course, the back straightaway is called the Alabama Gang Straightaway. That is very interesting. The Alabama Gang, of course, is Bobby Allison, Red Farmer, drivers like those guys who raced NASCAR and have been racing within the Southern racing routes. Those guys built racing in the South, I will say. Why we Appreciate them so much. So here we go. The pace truck will be pulling off this time. Your pole position, Colin Finland. Tyler Coates right outside pole here. Pace truck is off. Restart box will be coming up here momentarily. And we are. I said that way too early. I was way ahead of time here. But here we go. Green flag flies. And away we go around Talladega Super Speedway with Colin Finland out in front immediately. Everybody side by side here trying to just hold on to the draft as they all fall into turns 1 and 2. That run from the green flag to turn 1 very short. And now you see Tyler Coates. He gets out in front. He'll dive down to the bottom but slide back up. And you can see he is just holding on to that lead here. Now that's bottom line actually falling backwards. Something has gone wrong as Jake Ham has found himself in that higher lane and now is single file right on the back of Joshua Sushi. He's already into third.
Yeah, and looking at these racers as they try and negotiate the first lap of this race. Everybody wants a lead lap 1 here at Talladega, but only one man can do it. Tyler Coates, currently the Pied Piper of the field, as they head their way down to the tri-oval for the very first time at speed. They're still shuffling a little bit farther behind. Look at Adam, the Meower, in his return, currently slotted in 7th, the 244 car, at the midst of all the drama, as they are still duking it out up at the front. I think it may have been Joshua Suchi that was leading that last lap.
Yes, he was. Joshua Sushi leads lap number 1, and we got a caution. That is the 75 of Tyler Coates coming to a stop. And he is going again. Doesn't appear to have any damage, but somebody must have got into him and got that rear raised up for that spin to happen. Looks like Tyler Coates involved, maybe Brad Cathcart. As I'm looking at my activity board, it says he has crashed. We'll get a replay here very shortly. 50 laps in this one. So obviously pit stop will be required. We will have to see what has happened here to Tyler Coates. And he's going, and he just gets hooked.
Oh, so I think that may have been, oh yeah, Dylan Vose got involved in that drama as well. Brad Cathcart, of course, at the epicenter of it as well. I think there was another racer who had a pretty wild run in the midst of all that. We'll take a look at another replay here to see that drama. It may have potentially be. We'll hold off on identifying who that car is as we take a look at another perspective and all this. That was a 15. Yeah, you can see big clobbering, hammering hit there for Colin Finland. He's had this race already. He's had to tow back to pit lane. Major damage on that race car. Let's actually take a look at that from Finland's perspective because he had a wild ride. Pow!
Yeah, he just gets shoved up the track into the wall, and then it's just calamity from there. So the very first caution of XSLR has come out here on lap number 2, which is crazy to say. The very first caution of the season. Yeah, he just gets right hooked by Cathcart. Well, not right hook, left hooked by Cathcart. And that was really, I think Coates just underestimated how far he could go down, or overestimated, I should say. And there was a 905 car right by him. So fortunately for these guys who have damage, there is a fast repair on hand, so they'll be able to get that car repaired. You can just see is this a replay of what happened, a slow motion replay? It is. So
yeah, it's Cathcart.
You can see this. So Brad Cathcart, yep, the 75, he just comes down, thinks that there's an open space, probably hears clear from his spotter, and yep, just unfortunately for Brad Cathcart, just nothing he could do in that instance. Same with Colin Finland. And yeah, just everybody just trying to navigate that through from the back of the pack. Some good evasive maneuvers by some of those drivers to avoid that wreck. Of course, some of them are probably feeling like Cletus McFarlane, who raced in the ARCA Menard Series this year a few times at Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, and Charlotte Motor Speedway. Be nice if we could get like in driver interviews during the race. I want to hear somebody say that they were feeling like a bald eagle when they missed that wreck.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I will say there's a couple of broadcasts that I have done where I've had the opportunity to have a chat with a racer midway through it, and sometimes that doesn't really go too well, I can tell you that much. I think it was yesterday. I had a chat. Actually, no, it was my co-commentator in that race. Had a chat with a driver who had just got involved in a crash, and that driver not really interested in having a chat after all that was said and done. But would love to hear that, because I mean, this is definitely a selfish thing to say. That would make my job of clipping YouTube Shorts for the SMB channel way easier.
That was very selfish, Ron. How dare you?
How dare you?
I'm docking your pay. Or I'm telling our boss, you need your pay docked for just saying those words. How dare you? I'm just kidding around. Joshua Sushi, though, your race leader with Jake Ham, our points championship leader, looking to win his third race in a row. Yes, I did say that. It's looking like a lot like last season, where doesn't win that first race, but then goes 3 on the spin. And then, of course, next week we head to Eldora for the big block modifieds, Ron. We're heading to Dirt after this week, and we'll do that for 2 weeks. And then we finally get a break week here at XSLR.
Actually, let me see if I can test this out here real quick. I did a little bit of magic before we got the show up and rolling. There we go. Yeah, there you can see next week on SMB, round 5 of this XSLR season, big block modifieds at Eldora. That's going to be good, and after a little bit of schedule shenanigans, aka us at Slow Motion Broadcasting picking up another series, Mr. Joshua Wilkie, who was here in place of me last time out as I was off auditioning for the Will Rogers Follies, he is not going to be here for the 21st. I'll be in instead. It's only going to be until November the 2nd that I'll have to miss out on another show, and then we'll be clearing off to the races all the way through to the end of what is an absolutely amazing calendar to look forward to here in XSLR. We've got some great racing action to look ahead to. Those big block mods, that is going to be venturing off into the unknown. I feel like when it comes to the Formula Cars and the TCRs a little bit later on this year, that'll be back in my backyard, but for those big block mods, I am going to be about as helpful as a co-commentator as Stevie Wonder would be as a rally co-driver.
Well, do not worry, young Padawan. I will teach you the ways of dirt track oval racing. But cars are lined up here. Double file restart as always. And Jake Ham starting on the outside. That is somebody not to sleep on. But the question is, will Derek Folk give him the push that he needs to get out in front? Because if you are the pusher, well, you run that risk of being hung out to dry very quickly. Lap 5, we're going to go green on lap number 6 of 50 here. First caution of the XSLR season is all said and done. I'm going to get ready to go back racing here around the Talladega Super Speedway for another 44 laps to go in this one. Pace truck pulling off. Joshua Shushi, your race leader. And here we go. As they say at Talladega Super Speedway, this is Talladega. We are green. Joshua Shushi gets a great launch, but he has no help behind him. Jake Ham is like, what are you doing there, bub? I got a lot more help than you do right now. And he'll probably switch to that bottom line, but he may stay high. No, he does switch to the bottom line, get that grab. And he's going to come with a head of steam coming off of turn number 2. I guarantee it. You can just see it's already starting to happen as it is. And Jake Ham, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of chills out for a bit, saves some fuel, which he's been just so great at doing the last few weeks, is saving that fuel and getting to the end and extending these stints out. But you do not want to pit by yourself. And we got one turned around, and that's going to bring out another caution. Oh, and Tyler Coates is involved again.
Corey Patton getting a piece of that drama. Tyler Brown involved in it big time. Colin Finland, for the second time tonight, gets involved in an accident. I think Dylan Vose may have gotten a piece of that drama as well. For the second time tonight, we're under yellow. For the second time this season, we're under yellow. But this time, instead of heading off through turns number 1 and 2 where they wrecked, it's down to 3 and 4 where this accident took place. I'll have to load up a replay of that in a couple of moments' time. Looks kind of similar to what we saw to bring out the first yellow, I'll be honest.
Well, these guys are a little bit antsy, I think. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Oh, he just got hooked. He got hooked. That was Corey Patton who got hooked by the 821 of Tyler Brown. And that is exactly what happened. So Corey Patton, see, trying to make it 3 wide early, a little bit of net code, and Tyler Coates had nowhere to go. Nothing you can do if you're Tyler Coates in that situation. And a little bit of net code, but definitely a little of aggressive move there by Tyler Brown in the 821 to make it 3 wide so early. So he will go to the pits. Of course, there was a few guys with some meatballs, and that was Tyler Brown and Tyler Coates, both with a meatball flag. So they will use those fast repairs.
Was there some, again, word of another crash? Sorry to budge in here. It's marking off as Tyler Coates having wrecked again shortly thereafter the incident. Trying to find this replay from the perspective of Tyler Brown and see the drama that took place there. We'll say Charles Beauchel had a pretty wild ride in the midst of all that. So did Brad Cathcart, who just kind of dove through all of it and it kind of went through as if nothing was going on. We'll cut to a replay here to see it from Cathcart's perspective because he had a pretty wild ride in it all.
Now let's see what happens from the onboard of our resident Aussie. And at full speed, of course. And, oh, man, he just sees all of that and has to just dive down and just avoid all of it. Same with Beauchel and the rest of the cars that were behind that. So a good avoidance on the part of Brad Cathcart and Charles Beauchel. Joshua Shushi was leading when the caution came out. J-Cam was still in second. So really the top 3 hasn't changed much. But want to mention this. Derek Folk up 9 spots here so far tonight. Adam Thomsen is up 4 spots with Kevin Irwin and J-Cam. We should be giving out, awards for the hard charger of the night. The biggest mover. They should get something for moving up the field, even if they don't win. They should just be given some form of recognition.
I'm trying to think, what would the award be? It's a real question.
Give them an extra, give them a bonus point.
I was thinking we'd be giving them a trophy or something of those sorts. I could get down with a bonus point. If we were giving out a trophy, though, what in the world would we give them? Just pick a random trinket off of either of our desks. Yeah, that could work. I was thinking
give them a model rocket or something.
Oh God, that reminds me. So early on in my YouTube adventures, before I got caught up being a loudmouth live on iRacing shows, I had a small little mini series that I created going over really odd stuff that I could find on Craigslist just in the afternoon because I was bored doing schoolwork when I was still in high school, and I decided to do that instead. I remember one time, I forget where, it was somewhere in New Jersey, I found a listing for a 1-ounce bag of rocket fuel. Pit stop from Dylan Vose trying to top off of rocket fuel, clearly. But of all the things to purchase from New Jersey, I mean, it is New Jersey, so you're expecting some weird stuff, but rocket fuel, really? What would somebody in the city of Philadelphia do with a 1-ounce bag of rocket fuel? Are they going to put it in their V6 Dodge Challenger so they could do donuts in the school parking lot right behind my house?
I mean, you are in Philadelphia, so somebody would find a way to use it.
Yeah,
I mean,
they would.
I mean,
Start a fire.
You are, yeah. Start a fire. Grease the poles.
Hey, we're getting up till Red October here in the city of Philadelphia, so we may have to grease up those poles again.
So Michelle Lynn coming in with the, well, it is New Jersey.
Hey, exactly.
Yes.
See, Michelle gets it. She's,
Yeah.
you know, actually, it's funny that we race this. We do have a restart, so I'll keep this rather brief. It being me, it probably won't be brief. There's a co-commentator that I've done a decent amount of shows with, and they're actually based out of Windsor, Ontario, up there north of the border in Canada. And if anybody knows where Windsor is, it is right across on the other side of the Canadian border, right by the Detroit River. So I had a joke yesterday that I was going to ask him next time I'm working on a show with him, hey, how does it feel to live one river away from a pile of burning garbage? I guess that's what Philadelphians see the state of New Jersey as, just a pile of burning. I mean, there's this one town, I think it's Deptford, the Deptford dump, as my dad always calls it, because it is a landfill there, which I think my uncle's old house used to be right by. We'd have to drive past that every single time. We used to go to New Jersey Motorsports Park when I was still in my karting days.
Well, isn't that just calling the kettle black? All right, here we go. Joshua Sushi out in front with J-Cam. J-Cam trying to win 3 in a row here tonight at XSLR season number 10. Restart zone, green flag, and away we go once again. Joshua Sushi. You gotta calm down on these launches, sir, but he does have more help this time. The only person that doesn't have help is J-Cam. J-Cam's gonna have to go to the bottom groove to get behind J-Cam. Derek Folk. Derek Folk now giving a nice little push to Joshua Sushi and getting right on that back bumper. And J-Cam, he says, you know what? Since you took that spot away, I'm just going to go to the high side, get some help on the higher side, because there is no other cars behind Derek Folk. And actually, everybody's not even keeping up with the top 4 here, which is very unusual to see. You can see actually about 5 cars now, cars starting to bunch back together here because of that energy and everything. More cars in a pack, the faster you go. And J-Cam, he is now your race leader, and he will lead here on lap number 10 going into 11. No, Joshua Sushi does get it back. And that's because Adam Thomsen and the car behind him of, who is that, Kevin Irwin? No, that's not Kevin Irwin. Matt Lass jumped down to the bottom and gave a nice little 4-car push to Joshua Sushi out in front. But J-Cam and those guys cannot hold a line on exit. These guys need to calm down. Now, I will admit, Talladega is not the smoothest racetrack in the world, but you got to do a lot better than that. And, of course, these guys still going side by side. You start moving around, you start messing with the arrow a little bit, and that line will slow down eventually. I see it all the time in NIS open races where guys cannot hold the bottom, and I'm just holding it nice and smooth, and I have to consistently let off the gas to make sure I don't just ram somebody right in the buttocks in order just to get, just to stay racing. But now J-Cam out in front with Kevin Irwin, the cheese car in second. Adam Thomsen going with him on that higher side. Wouldn't be surprised if J-Cam decides he wants to go bottom, and actually Adam Thomsen going with him. Adam Thomsen, what a move there to take the second spot away. Holds Kevin Irwin out to dry as we get a nice little inside look of an Arca Menard's rear bumper. And Adam Thomsen now in second right behind J-Cam. Adam Thomsen starting his championship campaign today, but it might not be enough concerning he has missed the first 3 races of the season.
Yeah, definitely an uphill climb for Adam. We'll have to see if he can tackle it throughout the rest of this season here for Season 10 of XSLR here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. And I gotta say, if we want to check the back end of J-Cam's car, we can. As long as this arrangement's still in place, we can just see inside the car. There we go, fantastic view of the rear suspension. Meanwhile, looking a little bit farther behind, Matt Lass has his own battle, has his own sparring partner. That's Derek Folk that he's linked up with. Look at that. As let's do this perspective. Can see the engine bay of Matt Lass Glass's car. Perfect stuff there. Nearly saw inside the cylinder heads. That would have been a rather funky look. As look at these racers, they are really starting to scrap it at. Look at Joshua Suchi in the Butterfinger car. He's looking to try and slip his way up to the front. He is right now in the midst of a hornet's nest. Got that 15 car right behind him of Colin Finland. Despite the fact that Finland's been involved in some drama throughout a decent chunk of this race already, he's there. He's still up at the front. All of these cars covered by absolutely nothing. As a black flag in the air for Tyler Coates. He's already one lap down. That's not going to help out his cause one bit, as we are still side by side up at the front.
That black flag's probably going to be for incidences or some sort of crash related issue, just because he's been in 2 of them. So, and they were not just small incidences, they were pretty big gnarly crashes. And Jake Ham getting the help of Adam Thomsen, and he gets turned, and Adam Thomsen turns Jake Ham into the wall, and that's going to bring out another caution here on lap number 14.
Oh, and the both of them going to be kicking themselves with that moment. We'll have to take a look at a replay to see that drama that just went on. The yellow flag back out, and let's see it all from the perspective of Matt Last. Got caught up in that drama as the 2 drivers entered the wall right in front. That was a huge hammer blow to the front end of Jake Ham's car. We'll have to take a look at the perspective of his as he went his way off through that yellow flag. As let's actually take a look at from his drama. Yeah, there he can see it cuts a little bit too early there, which is a bit of a shame. We may have to rewind it back ever so slightly. We'll pretend that you're not seeing anything at the present moment. Jump to this, hit the pause button, and then there we go. We'll be able to break this down a little bit easier. For some reason, iRacing not giving us any quicker of a replay here. So let's break this down with a slightly narrower camera shot as we go to quarter speed.
And there's Adam Thomsen. He's given the bumper to Jake Ham and just gets him off a little center. Derek Folk is there, and Derek Folk just goes along for the ride along with Jake Ham. And oh, that is unfortunate there for our points championship leader. Just gets turned at the very wrong moment there, and that is not what you want to see.
Absolutely not. These racers going to be on the back foot. They have now come down pit lane to repair the damage as best as they can. Matt Last out and away, going to wait for Derek Folk as he's now trundling his way down pit lane. In the midst of all that drama, Adam has been able to jump out into the race lead. But that right there, that is the Talladega moment to end all Talladega moments. You got to play that bumping game. Unfortunately, sometimes it can go poorly. As we take a look at Jake Ham, he won't have to worry about any sort of overheating issues between now and the end with a front end looking like that, but that will not help his case out either.
Well, he will go to the pits and obviously use that free fast repair. So, and looks like Tyler Coates' night is done. So he will head back.
Oh, here's a good idea.
Oh, here we go. Take a look at the inside of a cockpit of a Arkham Menards pit stop.
Oh, he's not going out on jacks, damn it.
No, he's not. He's just going to fill up with fuel, get that fast repair. No need to really, the tires don't wear as much on a super speedway as they do on like an intermediate or a short track. So, oh, nope, he is.
Ha ha! My patience played off for the first time in about 20 years. Patience paid off. My patience paid off well, and it paid off so well that I forgot that it's paid and not played.
Well, there we go. So, Jake Ham will go out on track. He will start at the end of this pack, which, if anything has shown tonight, it's going to get a little crazy, but Adam Thomsen, in his return to XSLR this season, is out in front. Joshua Sushi, who has just been in that consistent 1-2 position so far in the early parts of this race. Of course, Colin Finland, who was involved in an accident earlier, sitting in third. Corey Patton has now moved up 10 spots after a big crash early on in this race, and he is now in that hard charger spot. Tyler Brown in fifth. He rounds out the top 5. Looks like Matt Lass and Derek Volk have now gone to the back of the pack as well. So Jake Ham will start in front of those guys in 12th position. So there's the positions gained and loss on the screen now. And you can see the Corey Patton with the big old 10 on his placard there, or the graphic. So, Ron, we kind of figured that this was going to happen. Maybe the video I sent earlier, I sent a video this morning of the final lap of the spring 2024 Talladega race for the Cup Series from the grandstand's point of view. And I said, this is what needs to happen. Well, it's sure coming true, but very early on in this one.
Yeah, actually, just I'll or as you say that, I was looking through the XSLR League chat because of some stuff going on a little bit earlier on today here on Slow Motion Broadcasting as we made our debut on the iRacing Esports Network with the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors 10th Anniversary Special. I didn't see that video up until now, and I don't think I will watch it at the moment because all the audio would go live onto the show, but I can see that's a pretty darn good camera angle of all that. I think I was on the air that day, or I was actually coming back from a race or something of the sorts. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I do remember seeing that finish a little bit later on that day on my phone and thinking, what in the world just happened there? In the best way imaginable, mind you, but I remember thinking, what just happened?
Mike, and for those of you who are not understanding what we're talking about, so last spring, 2024, Michael McDowell leading on the final lap from Brad Keselowski. They're coming through turn 4, coming down the front straightaway. And Michael McDowell is putting on the blocks on Brad Keselowski. Made one block, tried to make a second, and turned himself. Destroyed his car in over half the field. Corey LaJoie was driving on the wall towards the finish line, and Tyler Reddick won that race with Michael Jordan in attendance that afternoon. That was the first time Michael Jordan was in attendance for one of his race cars to actually win a NASCAR Cup race. So kind of a big weekend. It was a great finish, great race, and everything. So here we go. We're getting ready to go racing. Pace truck has pulled off, and the car is approaching that restart zone with Adam Thomsen, now your race leader, up 8 spots since the drop of the green flag on lap 1. And here we go, restart zone, and we are green. Good launch again by Adam Thomsen, but Joshua Sushi, even a better launch this time, able to keep with him side by side down the front straightaway in the turn 1. And who has the better help into that first turn? And it's going to be quite even, but Adam Thomsen just edging out just a little bit by just a bumper as they go through turns 1 and 2, getting ready to go down the Alabama gang back straightaway. And right now, Adam Thomsen out in front, but Joshua Sushi's got some really big help from the 131 of Corey Patton. Corey Patton trying to get that 29 car out in front, but gives him a little bit of separation. Is now the 15 of Colin Finland, giving the bumper to Adam Thomsen and shoving him out in front and getting clear of that 29 car of Joshua Sushi. Let's see, where does Jake Ham come through? Can he find a way through this field here as he's stuck in the back right now? But Adam Thomsen now out by several cars in front of Joshua Sushi, and his only competition right now, Colin Finland, our pole sitter here at Talladega Super Speedway.
As they drive off into the sunset, this race already about a half an hour in. With how little racing we've had up to this point, the amount of yellows, if we keep up that trend, may have to worry about this race coming down to time. But these racers, I think they know that they should probably take it a little bit easy, as Adam Thomsen, currently the Pied Piper of the field. Let's ride on board and see a good view of the engine compartment of that number 15 car. There you can see it as they head their way down into 3 and 4 through it right now. Thomsen holding on to that race lead still. Pretty much everybody all throughout the field running single file. I think this is the first time that has been the case all throughout this race. Do want to say Tyler Coates has called it a day in the number 75 car. He is the first and so far only retiree, and I think I spoke a little bit too soon there in terms of them running single file. Let's look at Matt Lass in the number 98 car. He's now decided to pick it out 3 wide, and he's also going to have some assistance with the 821 car of Tyler Brown going side by side.
Well, one of the things you got to remember about super speedway racing, when it goes single file, it takes a little bit of time to get that second line going, especially with just only 2 cars. Those 2 cars are not going to be able to get to the front. They need a little bit more help. Maybe in front of them, maybe behind them, but the pack has separated here. Here on lap number 20, you have your lead pack, and then you have your second pack. That's what they call it. The second pack, several feet behind them, and they are not catching up. But now momentum starting to build up here. Derek Folk, though, he is separated from the lead pack, and now he is starting to fall backwards here to that higher side, as they are going to try and maybe think about maybe we should move down to that lower line because there's just no momentum on that high side.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's got a single file back at soon. Yes, it does, right behind these racers. Matt Last, the car got hung out to dry the most in all of that. He has made that decision to say, you know what? It's not really working out. I'm going to make that call to go down to the bottom of the track. Meanwhile, side-by-side racing of flare up once again. Tyler Brown, ever the opportunity to try and make that move stick on Corey Pan and try and not lose out on a spot to Derek Folk right behind. Folk thought about going for the move as he is still running right behind these racers, but for the most part, it is single file up in the front. Some drivers who have been up and down the field, like Otis Elevator, running strong as that's Corey Pan. He's going to get hung out to dry big time. As you can see, Derek Folk sticking it side by side after the 821 of Tyler Brown was able to clear him downtown into 1 and 2. Now it's the 78 and the 131 duking that for spots. And you also look at Matt Last. He's going to try and get this moved on his teammate as well. Pan going to slip back in tow.
One of the things now you're starting to see is a little bit more separation with the top 2 as they are, the top 3. One of the big things you got to remember is that you just got to keep pace. You just got to stay in that draft. The minute you lose that draft, it is a long road to get it back. And as somebody who has done several of these races around Talladega, around Daytona, and NIS, well, it really sucks when you don't have a draft. It is very, very painful. And even if you get lapped and everything, you just can't catch up to it because those guys, it's a 20-mile-per-hour difference. I mean, it is so significant on how fast it is with the draft compared to without the draft. Because like these guys right now, I mean, we were seeing 54, 55-second lap times in qualifying. The best lap time so far is a 50.5. So a 4 to 5 second difference in lap time when it comes to with a draft and without a draft. It's a painful experience.
It's basically like the difference between filling your car up with normal gasoline and filling your car up with, I don't know, cherry Coke. It's just not going to fire on all cylinders. I'm not even sure if it would crank over. It is such a large difference that you can't really affect it too much. One of the series that I have the opportunity to cover, and a series that Michelle Lynn is very much so familiar with, the Formula V Weekend Warriors here on SMB that you can catch every single Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those cars are absolute draft monsters. The Spec Racer Fords are as well. But in a Formula V, considering those cars have about as much power as your average kitchen appliance, they have such a large amount of time that you can gain just by getting a small little bit of draft assistance. Even though you're comparing a road course formula car to a super speedway racing ARCA stock car, there's still a bit of a comparison to be made between not having the draft and having the draft in cars where if you lose out on it, you're just gonna feel like you're running a completely different motor, a motor probably dragged out of a washing machine.
Well, you can see now some of the other cars that were further back are starting to catch up a little bit here. But that farther group behind this group, that second group, nowhere close right now. And where is J Cam? He is currently in 9th. So whoa! He is the 85. And we got one turned around and hard into the wall goes the 131 of Corey Patton.
Oh, be careful.
Oh! And now the caution comes out.
Yep, caution has came out. I'm not sure if Brad Cathcart's going to remember how the yellow came out because of how hard of a whack that was, but the yellow is back out right at the halfway mark of this race. Now Cathcart going to try and burn it down just to get that car spun back around in the right direction. Don't think that's going to work out. He's going to tow back to pit lane. Adam Thomsen, now your race leader, still your race leader. And let's take a look at that dramatic collision. Teammates bump drafting going horribly, horribly wrong as they had their way down the back straightaway with a yellow out for not the first time in this race. May not be the very last either.
Oh, man. Well, here we go. Let's take a look at that replay here on lap number 26. Just an unfortunate series of events, and
dang it.
Man, you're
It's not doing me many favors at all. It starts right as the crash happened. I kid you not, folks. I hit. There's a button right there that says Matt last crashed. Then I hit the button that says Matt last crashed, and he had already crashed. So I think we'll try and run this back a little bit more. That goes a little bit later on, even though it says it's earlier. I gotta say, Brad Cathcart, though, had a wicked ride and all that. Wicked in the worst way you could possibly imagine. As let's actually take a look at this from his perspective. This may be a good view of it. Oh!
boom! What a ride he went for.
The gyro cam may be a good one to use in this situation. Let's see it from the gyro cam.
So let's see here. He's going through and, just magically appears out of nowhere. Kind of Cletus McFarlane's it. And gets spun around. Just a hard impact there from both Matt Lass, Brad Cathcart, and Corey Patton. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, I think Corey Patton just misjudged that his teammate was right there. And yeah, Brad Cathcart just had nowhere he could go because by the time that 98 machine just went up the track, he stopped. And yeah, you can just see now, you can see Corey Patton, the 131. He's the car on the inside. He then just decides what happens here. Yeah, he moves up. He's not clear. He clears himself, and guess who's there? His teammate, and he gets absolutely obliterated.
I will say,
I'm surprised that didn't bring out the caution.
Oh. Yo, who had the worst outcome in all that? Was it Corey Patton, who really had a sickening hit to the outside wall? Or was it Matt Lass, who I can imagine the rear end housing in that rate? Oh, he got hit once again by his own teammate there. Didn't even pay attention to that. Oh, boy. Very rough moment for the both of them. We may be able to load up this replay here to see Corey Patton running into his teammate there as he tried to get the car back up and rolling here. And let's see. This was the slowest impact out of it all. And I think I may have... we still on this? I think he may have already cleared it at the time. But either way, a pretty rough ride for the both of them. It's brought the yellow out, and we'll say I think we've actually just had some pit stops go on here as Derek Folk has been able to shuffle out into the race lead in the midst of all of that. Adam Thomsen's still in third, but everybody making the call to come down pit lane with Folk spending a solid 3 seconds less than everybody else down pit lane. Fascinating stuff to note there.
3 seconds, huh? So you got to wonder... Fuel? It's not a tire change.
Yeah, that's got to be fuel. That has absolutely got to be fuel.
Huh. All right. Well, Derek Folk will be your race leader with Colin Finland now in second. Jake Ham, who did pit, he was a 6.6 second stop. So he will cycle out to fourth. So he jumps a lot of positions here, which is going to probably be a savior of his race.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be it's going to be a good swing of events for him. That I think it certainly will be, as checking to see whether the lights are out on the pace car or not. They look like they're still on, potentially, possibly, nope, maybe. Oh, they're off. There we go.
Double now, so we're going to go racing here.
That's a little bit
missing
funky.
A car, though.
Yeah, who's missing? I think I mean, Colin Finland's in P2. Huh. Everybody all mixed up here? Yeah, there he is. He's meant to be on the outside. I was wondering what was going on. Asleep with the controls.
Oh, there we go. We're double file stacked up. Getting ready to go back racing here on lap number 29. We're over the halfway point now. It's only taken us 39 minutes. So, but Derek Folk now is in the hard charger position, up 11 spots. Ignore the fact that it keeps going back and forth. It's just because they're double file.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, it's just dancing around like crazy. Calm down, Colin. You're not the leader yet.
He's using that rocket fuel we mentioned a moment ago.
Oh, man. Here we go. Derek Folk, your race leader, up 11 spots here. Took a quick pit stop. Gets back out in front. Jake Ham will start outside in that 4th spot with Adam Thomsen on his inside. If I'm Jake Ham, I would be careful. I would be very, very careful here on what happens, considering the guy that took you out earlier is now on your inside. Pace truck should be pulling off. We will get ready to go racing next week, round 5 at Eldora in the Big Block Modifieds on dirt. So here we go. Green flag will fly here in just a moment. Restart zone. And we are green. Derek Folk, good restart. Gets a little bit of gap, though, to him and the rest of the pack, but that's going to get that energy flowing on that inside line. Jake Ham went down low immediately, now shoots up to the high side, says, you know what, Derek, we're going to hang you out to dry here. See you later, sucker. As Adam Thomsen now moves into 2nd. Jake Ham is in 3rd. He will slot in as now Colin Finland, who is the pole sitter, has cycled himself back out in front here on lap number 29. Adam Thomsen now in the hard charger, up 7 spots. Excuse me, Derek Folk still in the hard charger with 8 spots gained. But Adam Thomsen would love to get that lead here and be up 8 spots since the start of this one. But guess what? He's got Jake Ham behind him. I don't think Jake Ham's going to be very nice to him, I think, for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and I think there may be a little bit of love lost between those two as they're nose to tail at the present moment. Let's jump on board with him for a couple of moments. You can see that vast yawning chasm between those two race cars. That is a very rare occurrence in a super speedway race. That gap going to close up right away. Get a big bump right behind from Derek Folk in the number 78 car. He's going to try and get involved in this fight as well. Looking through your top 7 pack as likes of Josh Suchi, Dylan Vose, Corey Patton, and others a little bit farther behind these racers. The battling up at the front, though, I feel like all these cars have a very good shot to get the job done. Colin Finland has shown some pace thus far this season. Adam Thomsen, of course, your granddaddy, basically, when it comes to XSLR. Jake Ham, pretty much unstoppable thus far this season. Derek Folk, another very talented racer. Tyler Brown, pretty good as well. Gavin Irwin and Andy Kosick running out that pack of race cars up towards the north end of the field. All of them have a pretty darn good shot to try and get the job done here tonight.
Well, you can see Colin Finland. He's trying to just stay out in front, but it really doesn't matter if you're leading this race here on lap 31. All that matters is, can you hold it all the way to lap number 50? And that is going to be it. And unfortunately, you got some fast guys behind you. Jake Ham, who's one of the most patient drivers in XSLR. He's not going to press the issue at all. He's just going to save that fuel. He's going to take his time. He is a natural super speedway racer. Somebody who's just not going to get out there in front immediately. He just wants to take his time. You know, no need to press the issue, because by the time you do that, you're just going to get hung out to dry as Kosick now falls, trying to just make some sort of action happening. But that bottom groove right now, those 6 cars just really built up the energy and the momentum. Now Derek Folk, he's going to move to the outside line, and he's taking the 821 of Tyler Brown with him. Of course, Kevin Irwin does not go with him, and if he presses on the gas hard enough, he will get through. and close that gap, really hurting that outside groove even further. That's one of my favorite moves of all time, when you see guys move to the outside with hardly any help. You just press on the gas and close the gap, close that gap off, and then you hang those guys on the outside line to dry, and they fall way back. And that's what Kevin Irwin is doing at this point, as Derek Falk, ooh, that was a tight gap to fit his car into. Again, he slides up to the outside line, trying to just make something happen, as he's still in that hard charger spot, 8 spots gained since the drop of the first green flag of the race. And right now, Tyler Brown, he's the only one on that high side. He got left out to dry, and he's going to have to find a way to get down to the bottom line, and that's going to be when Andy Kosick finally will pass him, and he can. And you can see Kevin Irwin, he is doing everything he can. He wants to get by the 78 machine, especially right now, and he will. So Derek Falk will fall down to 5th. Kevin Irwin into the top 4 of this one, which is incredible. Kevin Irwin hasn't had the greatest runs here at XSLR. Usually collected in something, obviously, last week. He was not here last week, wasn't he? So the cheese card did not make it appearance. So, yeah, that's true. I shouldn't be asking you those things. You should have done your research, Ron. Gosh. See, all good broadcasters do their research. Come on now.
See, my excuse is that this is my 9th show over the past, 72 hours. So that's my excuse. I'm running off to the bank with it. Gotta say, these two up on the top side, Derek Falk and the 821 of Tyler Brown, looking to run away with things. They just don't have the strength in numbers at the moment, as they've been caught up in some rather awkward situations, and they're gonna get caught up in a wreck as Falk gets spun into the inside wall.
And no caution is out. He's far enough off the racetrack that a caution does not wave here. And so Derek Falk not only gets wrecked, but he's not even going to be able to stick with the pack, as he has to go into the pits to repair that damage. Oh, man, hard times falling for the 78 machine of Zoot Lord Racing. And he will get in there quickly and definitely repair that damage. I don't know if he has a quick repair or not. I can't down a couple of times. We'll see. Yes, he does. Gets that car fully repaired. This was kind of interesting. It was a little bit of a snap by the 78. He saves it and then gets hooked. So
that was a double doink to the back bumper of the 78. That's exactly what happened. The 821 was all over the back of him, but unfortunately just too much to bit off a bit too much than he could chew. And 821 of Tyler Brown has run into his own difficulties. As let's take a look at this from his perspective on the nose cam of that car. Contact being made, 1, 2, and then there we go. Yeah, exactly.
1-2 knockout punch for Derek Falk right there. And unfortunately for the 821, because of that, he has now lost the draft to that pack. So he is going to need some help. And actually, he has gone way backwards. You got to wonder if there's maybe a little damage that's preventing him, because now he is at the tail end of this second group, as now everyone's going to have to just try and get around Derek Falk, who did finish on the podium last week. So he ran really well. It's just unfortunately, because of the nature of Bristol, he was a lap down by the end of the race. So Adam Thomsen now is your hard charger, up 8 spots, your race leader, with Jake Camp in second now. And there's the 021 of slow trickler Charles Bochelle. And he is just running a good race right now, just trying to stay calm. And Derek Falk, he knows he's a lap down, but he's going to do everything in his power, try and get that lap back. He will be the lucky dog if another caution comes out, so he will get that lap back. But there has to be a caution, as we are on lap 37. I would say everybody probably has enough fuel to make it to the end at this point with how many cautions we have had. So that will not be a concern, as we are seeing Charles Bochelle and the rest of the second group, led by Joshua Sushi. Dylan Bose, an uncharacteristic night. He's been up at the front for the last 3 weeks in these races, and tonight he is sitting in 10th, so not good for his championship bid, as he has been up there competing with Jake Ham week in, week out since we started 3 weeks ago at... Where did we start this?
Charlotte. Charlotte.
That's right. Yes.
We're gonna be coming back there soon with We're gonna be coming back there soon with the big block modifieds. I think we're gonna be running at the Charlotte Dirt Track in November.
Yep, and that is right next door to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where they host the World of Outlaw World Finals at in November, and that's when they race all 3 series: the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, the late models, and the big block modifieds, or the summer dirt car, or excuse me, the dirt car, super dirt car series is what they actually call it on dirt. But yes, the big block modifieds go to the dirt track at the Charlotte the dirt track at Charlotte is what it's called. So I had to think that went through. I can't believe I forgot that, but
it's like the bull ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Whenever they have a name on top of a name, that's when it's hard for us to nail down, because who's going to remember your second? It's like somebody with like 3 different middle names.
Well, here's the thing about the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They don't race on it except for the World Finals for the World of Outlaws. There's no other races that go on there like a weekly basis deal. So it only gets used a few times a year, which makes it kind of interesting because that dirt doesn't get worked in as much. So just something if you're curious on how that works. And you can see, what is that 15 car of Colin Finland trying to do here? And he is going to get some help, but instead Cossack says, nope, not going to help you. He thought about it for a moment, I think, and Jake Hamel got a little bit loose and squirrely there, trying to use the side draft of this 15 car of Colin Finland, and it's actually working because all that energy being sucked off the 15 car, and now Kevin Irwin trying to get by, and it's not going to work out here. We are getting going here. Adam Thomsen still out in front as we are now 11 laps to the checkered flag here. And now the groups are, now the top 2 starting to separate a little bit from the pack here. And that's just because those guys were side drafting each other and just fighting each other for no reason. And now you can see a little bit of a bigger gap now, over half a second separating second and third. And Jake Ham, I think he's got a trick up his sleeve. Again, he's not going to wait. He's going to wait probably until at least 2 laps to go, if not the final lap, to make his move. Is now Kevin Irwin getting that energy stuck back to him, and that's going to help out Jake Ham quite a bit here. But Jake Ham, very smart super speedway racer, not leading out in front. Of course, when you lead out in front, you are using the most fuel because you are in that clean air. You're not lifting, as Dylan Vos is going into the pit, probably
black flag.
A black.
Yeah, he's got a black flag. Not sure how he's picked up that. Probably for incident points. That's one more thing to raise here at Talladega. You got that bump drafting game going on. You can rack up those incident points and collect them like Pokemon cards. Unfortunately for him, I think that may take him out of contention here big time. He's now down in P12 and effectively in no man's land. I think even if we jump out to the far at blimp cam, yeah, no other cars. That is stone cold in the middle of nowhere. It's like being up in North Dakota.
Oh, you can say that about North Dakota.
See, I wouldn't say it about South Dakota, because I know that's your home state. North Dakota, however, see, at least in South Dakota, you guys have Mount Rushmore. North Dakota is just basically south to Canada.
Yeah, I agree. Canada can't have them. Jake Ham, single file here with Adam Thomsen with the rest of this 5-car group, and everyone just sitting patiently right now. And right now, everybody just trying to think of ways to how do you get through this? How are you planning the end of this race? And that's the one thing about super speedway racing is, how do you strategize? When is the right time to make a move? Well, you don't want to make it too early. You don't want to be how do I say this nicely? You don't want to be a paddle award at the Indy 500 in this case. So don't want to make the move too early, and you don't want to make it too late.
You don't want to be the person on Black Friday shopping that shows up to be the first in line on like 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Thanksgiving Day. So that's basically what you gotta be. That was an early call from Colin Finland as he had a mighty run coming onto the back straightaway and decides to take it, and not really gonna work out in his favor one bit. You're getting to the point now, and I agree with you there, Adam. These drivers have to worry about the timing. They gotta figure out when exactly is the time to pounce, when is the time to strike. You gotta strike while the iron is hot. There's no point striking when that iron is just freezing cold.
Oh, Adam Thomsen, he might be feeling comfortable right now, but I would not be feeling comfortable because
it's like a hostage's smile.
Yeah, it's you're comfortable, but don't be too comfortable because you're gonna deal with Jake Ham here, who you did turn earlier. So he might not be very nice coming down the stretch as we see a good look at the carburetor and the filter and the air filter and everything. Oh boy. Kind of an awkward moment there as we saw the front end of
I feel like we're in
Jake
tech
Ham's
inspection.
car. Yeah, it was. We had X-ray vision there. So right now, Thomsen, if I'm Thomsen right now, I'm going, I do not feel comfortable with this. Because right now, if I'm Jake Ham, you see, so one of the things that I do not like seeing Adam Thomsen do here, on entry of the corner, he gets a little bit high. He starts to slide up that racetrack a little bit. When you do that, and if I'm Jake Ham, I'm just shoving my nose in the inside. I'm going to go, you want to do that stuff, I'm going to just shove you out of the way. And I'm going to take that. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, Charles Boschel goes out. Oh, man. Charles Boschel, I think, almost went head over heels there.
I think he did. How in the hell did that happen? The yellow's out, and you can tell it's a crazy moment because I sound like a Catholic schoolgirl there. What in the world is going on with Charles Boschel? Let's take a look at this. Holy cow.
That 821 car of
he
Tyler
flipped
Brown.
it.
He did it. No, that's not a flip. He only put it on the side.
It's close enough. Let's see
a
this.
Flip would be a full 360. No, he got it on the side, though. Yeah, that 821 car, he tried to save it and just gets on his side and comes right back down. So the flaps on the race car doing their job. But, oh, man.
It's a half a flip. It's a flip.
Half a flip's not a flip.
Yeah, that's why I called it a flip.
I thought your mic just cut out.
Oh, no. I cut
like,
out.
Ron? Yeah. Ron, are you okay? Are you having a stroke?
I'm not all right. I'm half left.
Oh, jeez.
We like to have a good time here on SME. We're having a good time here tonight.
That is a terrible pun. I'm gonna. You know what? You live in Philly. That's punishment enough.
Michelle Lynn's not gonna be happy about that comment.
Oh man. Well, will this be an overtime? Do we have overtime enabled on this league? I think we do.
I will do some investigative journalism to find out. I think we do have some overtime attempts, and if we do, we've got ourselves some overtime to talk about here. Let me check. Starting to sing an old. Okay, so we got 2 green-white checkered attempts. So if we don't get it right the first time, we're gonna be racking them and stacking them on 2 attempts. If we can get it right the first time, cool. If we can't get it right the second time, then we're gonna end this race under yellow. And we also have to worry about that time limit up there at the top. You can see 57 minutes and nearly 58 minutes in to this race, 48 laps on the board. So we will most certainly be going into green-white checkered territory, but with an hour and 10 being the time limit, we may have to worry about this race potentially going fully to time.
Don't bring that on us. How dare you? Josh, if you're watching, dock this man's pay again. Like, this is twice now. You've said something you shouldn't be saying.
Oh, you can't deduct nothing.
True.
Actually,
True.
no. I'm gonna amend that statement just so nobody's concerned. We do get paid well here at SMB. I'm paid very comfortably in steaks.
Take away the man's steaks, make him a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been downgraded to tofu pay.
that's even more expensive.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. I'll tell you what, tofu is probably the most expensive bean paste in the world. Oh, that reminds me, actually. So as we're under this yellow, going into green, white, checker territory, I'll share this story that my dad has told me on several occasions. So this was back when he was working at a tire shop, this repair shop right outside the city of Philadelphia, and pretty much all the employees would stop off at this 7-Eleven right outside, actually just barely inside the city limits. The city line actually goes through the property, I believe, or just right at the edge of it, and they would always stop there in the morning, and it was owned by this very nice old man, but the old man's daughter was the most miserable woman you could possibly imagine, as my dad likes to share this story as. And one day, my dad just called up this 7-Eleven on the shop phone, hooked it up through the shop's intercom system, so it was playing through the speakers inside the repair bays, and said, and I quote, "How much 1 cup boiled bean water?" He just said that, and the lady was like, huh? And then he said, how much 1 cup boiled bean water? And then the lady hung up the phone. So a few moments later, the lady called it back, because this was, I think, back in the 80s. I never got the exact year that the story happened, but I assume it was the 80s. And that was right as caller ID was coming into vogue. So the lady called up the shop phone back, and my dad, doing what he usually does, picked up the phone, Keystone Discount Tire, and the lady over the other end of the phone said, I can't say what she actually said on the air, but I will censor it out, bleep you, outright, and all the mechanics in there were just dying laughing. My dad could share this story a lot better than I can, but that is a story among many that he has told me, which makes me the square that I am now, because I don't do the wild crap that he did back when he was my age, but it also gives me some comedy fuel as I do these broadcasts.
well, here we go. This is the longest race of the XSLR season so far. It is going to be a green-white checker, so a lot of firsts we're achieving tonight. First cautions, first longest race, first green-white checker. Luckily, this is the only time we use the green-white checker system is on the asphalt ovals. There will be none of this from this race forward, because on dirt we don't do that. On sports car racing we don't do that. On dirt road we don't do that. So this is the only time you'll see a green-white checkered finish. And
are we gonna have are we gonna have a true green-white? Sorry to budge in. Are we gonna have like a true ARCA green-white checkered? Because I think we'll have only one lap of racing action when we get this race back up and rolling.
Nope, we do. Nope, it is a green-white checker, so it is extended out to a overtime finish. So here we go. Pace truck is off. Adam Thomsen, Jake Ham, headed towards the restart zone. Who is going to take home this one? Will Jake Ham get his third win in a row? Will Adam Thomsen say, not today, son. I'm back. Here we go, restart zone. We are green, white checker around Talladega Super Speedway. Good launch off the line. Jake Ham, a little bit delayed reaction, but he wants to get that draft as soon as he can because he knows that white flag comes out. That means the next flag will be the checkered flag, and it will end the race. Doesn't regardless if it's a caution or the checker flag, it will end it. Here comes Jake Ham. Jake Ham trying to stick with Adam Thomsen. Everybody's squirreling around, still side by side further back, but single file out in front. Jake Ham, he's doing everything he can down the back straightaway. Here they go into 3 and 4. Jake Ham, will he make the move possible? He needs some help, though, to get in front. Maybe Kevin Irwin can get up there to help out Jake Ham win this race here tonight on XSLR. Here they come through the tri-oval. White flag displayed. One more time around. Next flag ends the race. Jake Ham giving a nice little shove maybe trying to unsettle Adam Thomsen a little bit here. Maybe get a little early revenge from the beginning of the race. You can see Jake Ham, he is right on that bumper. And he does have help now with Kevin Irwin, but Kevin Irwin may not go with him. And we got a big crash behind him. Everybody going around in circles and no caution. We stay green. Jake Ham, he's not going to get there. He's falling down the fourth. Kosick, he is trying to do everything he can. He's out in front. Adam Thomsen, he's down to third. Will Adam Kosick win his very first oval race here through 3 and 4? Down into the tri-oval now. And Andy Kosick, take a bow, son. You're going to win here at XSLR on an oval. Oh, man, what a finish.
How in the world did he do that? Well done to Kosick, picking his way through the drama and able to get the job done at the end of this race. Well done to him. Matt Last gonna come home behind in P2. They wrecked all around this racetrack. Tyler Brown finished the race with a black flag withstanding, so he's gonna drop down like a stone thrown into a pond. But Kosick able to get the job done. We're gonna have to take a look at that white flag lap. That was pure madness.
That was incredible what just has happened here tonight on slow motion broadcasting. Let's just watch what happens with Andy Kosick. He's got a head full of steam going down the back straightaway. Here they go into 3 and 4. You can see he's doing everything he can to just try and get there. Actually, this is 1 and 2. So down the back straightaway, everyone going crazy. And Andy Kosick just keeps his foot on the floor here. And he is not going anywhere. Gets by Adam Thomsen. Has some help behind him. Adam Thomsen has no help. Everyone driving around him. Thomsen falls back down to third. And he is just watching this. He watches the win go away. Jake Ham also caught up in that entire deal. And he will finish in fourth. An unfortunate series of events that has happened there for him, our points championship leader. But Andy Kosick comes across the line to win here. Matt Last in second. There's the finish at the line. Excuse me, they're all just shaping up. I thought that was a still image of the finish. But Andy Kosick gonna burn it down at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, he absolutely has the right to burn it down, celebrating in style with some burnouts here. Hopefully he doesn't crash the car as he finishes this race. But right now, Adam, we have got some results to take a look at the end of what was a rather long but rather brilliant night of racing action here at Talladega. What a race that we just saw here tonight. Bravo to all those racers for giving us a grandstand finish at the end of this race. There was some drama thrown out throughout it all. It should be said, but overall, well done. That was some golden stuff at the end.
Yeah, let's take a look at what the final tally is. Andy Kosick, your race winner with Matt Last by 0.097 of a second in second. Adam Thomsen in his return this season finishes in third. Jake Ham fourth. Kevin Irwin fifth. Dylan Vos will finish in sixth. Jason Greider in seventh. Colin Finland will finish in eighth. And ninth will be Joshua Sushi, and rounding out the top 10 is Tyler Brown.
Then looking through the final few drivers classified here at the end of this race, it's Corey Patton classed in P11, the second to last car, one lap down. Second to last car on the lead lap, I should say. Charles Bochelle, the last car on the lead lap. I believe he was actually in the pits. So who's that three-wheeling it right there? Shows you that these ARCA cars, not a big fan of turning right. They're more tuned in to turning left. That was Jake Ham three-wheeling it there in the back of shot. Charles Bochelle classed in 12th, as I said. Brad Cathcart in lucky number P13. Derek Folk, the last of the cars that actually took the checkered flag, with Tyler Coates, the one retiree from this race, classed in a P15, 38 laps down. So that's how it shakes out at the end of this race here, Adam. What a race here at Talladega. Talladega, we always expect some action here at, they call Maunz the Temple of Speed, and we'll actually be going there a little bit later on this season, if my memory serves me correctly. But I think really, in terms of the Speed Kingdom, it is here at Talladega where that crown is most likely held.
Well, it is. It is such an incredible racetrack, provides such incredible racing, and a lot of firsts tonight here. Ron, of course, a first-time winner on an oval. Andy Kosick, You have Matt Last finishing second, Adam Thomsen in third, which we'll interview here in a moment. But we had our first cautions, our first overtime finish. What an incredible race. And let's bring in our race winner of Andy Kosick, who wins here at Talladega. A big win, I would say, for you, Andy. Talk about that finish.
How about that, man? First, I have to say, we went 300 and something laps caution free, and as soon as our boss shows up, there we are, getting caution flags left and right. Anyway, I had no idea that I was going to win this at the end. I just know that I did my best to hang with that draft, and we got that late caution, and then I knew it was anyone's race after that, and I just got a really good run on the back straight, and I couldn't check up. I just went for it. And Matt was telling me he saw me going and he went with me. And so I thought he might try to challenge me at the end. I really thought a back straight move was way too early and that I was going to get blown by. But there was enough disorganization, and Matt and I stayed together, and we got the 1-2.
You drove away from the leaders towards the end of that one. You weren't really under threat, it seemed like. And you get this was a big giant win, for you. I know you've not had the greatest time on the ovals and have had some struggles. So this has got to feel like a great accomplishment.
That was totally awesome. It's the exact opposite end of the spectrum of the first couple races where things were not going my way at all. So when I was in that lead pack, I'm thinking top 5, that's really good. I just got to hang here. We'll fight it out on the last lap. But this was obviously the best possible outcome. Super happy with that.
Well, tonight you get the win. Anybody you want to thank for getting you to victory lane here tonight?
Well, I definitely got to thank Matt because he stuck with me, and we rode it out to the end. If he'd have went side by side, I don't know, we might have all lost. So also, thank my old man for all the times he watches. He's on a ship this week, but he'll catch it on the replay. And obviously, Adam for keeping the league going, and you guys for doing a nice broadcast for us.
Well, congratulations, Andy. You are a race winner here in season 10.
Thank you.
Andy Kosick, our race winner. We'll bring in Matt Last here next. Matt Last, our second place finisher, who probably didn't see himself on the podium tonight, but here he is. Matt, talk about that one.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough race. Didn't mean to take out my teammate at one point in time there, Corey. I felt pretty bad for that, but I don't know, just kept playing it, just trying to play it smart. And I saw Andy go with a massive run there, and I'm like, I got to follow him, and just stuck with him the whole time.
Yeah, and, you kept it wide open. Unfortunately, you come up just less than a tenth of a second from winning that one. Just talk about just the final stages, just really just staying in touch with the lead pack and getting a second place finish.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the second place. I'm happy for Andy for taking first. After the last season on the Pro 4s, having to serve that black flag, that still haunts me. So just played it kind of safe, and it seemed like everything just worked out, and I've been putting in a lot of practice and a lot of hours in the sim.
Well, who would you like to thank for getting you this podium finish tonight?
I'd definitely like to thank Team Twisted for the support, my teammate Locke, Corey, and all the guys over at XSLR. Them guys have been helping me out so much, and definitely getting me better.
Well, congratulations. You finished in second tonight, and we head to Eldora next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, guys. Love the broadcast. Watch it every single time after the races, and special thanks to XSLR as well. Love everything you guys do here. This is it's really great.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, absolutely.
Matt Last, our second place finisher. Ron, I don't know how we're going to handle this third interview, but we're going to go ahead and go for it. Adam Thomsen, our third place finisher, who makes his debut here tonight on season 10 who's been on a secret mission out of the country. And the minute he comes back, it's calamity and cautions and what in the hell did happen in that race?
I knew you were going to bring that up. Why? Why is it? I knew, first of all, Ron, I'm pretty sure mentioned me in a broadcast earlier today about Thomsen trophies, right? So I'm glad that my legacy lives on even when I'm not here. And then when I get back, all you guys want to do is talk shit about me, Adam. What is that all about?
Well, you're not here, so we're not going to talk smack behind your back. We're not that kind of unclassy type of people. All right, we're
That's
classier than that around here. So
That's
we had to, when I saw your name on the board, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, not again. Well, you finished in third in front of Jake Ham, but the start to your championship campaign that you were building up from last season, surely off not to a great start.
Yeah, it hasn't. It wasn't the most opportune time for me to get sent overseas, but it is what it is, and I love my job. I love my job. So I had to do what I had to do, but yeah, I'm back, and I'm glad to be back. It was a lot of fun. Tempers, I don't know how it's been. I've heard it's been pretty damn clean the first few races, but tempers were flaring just a little bit, which I expected here at Talladega, but all in all, I mean, for a 15-car field, can't really get much better, and I can't shout out the guys enough, all the new guys that have been coming to race with us, and all the old guys that have been here the whole time, and massive shout out to Andy as well for carrying the league on when I was gone. But yeah, the race as it was concerned, qualifying around a super speedway I've never been very good at. I don't know what to do. But I knew it was a long race, and just kind of stuck with people that were making the runs till I got up to the front. And one thing, I've never driven these new ARCA cars. They have a lot of similarities to the newer the next gen cars and stuff like that, draft wise, and then they get super hot super quick while you're in the draft. So I just instead of trying to lift in second place or stick my nose out and get turned if someone tried to go low or high and on my left or right rear, I just wanted to try to be in the lead the best I could and try to dictate it from that point. And it worked until the green-white checkered, and I don't know if it would have worked even before the green-white checkered. I knew people were going to go on runs. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I was hoping to block. I tried to block Andy, but he has such a head of steam, and Matt did the right thing and following him, and I tried to push them both up to the wall to try to intimidate them a little bit, but they weren't having any of it. And I want to congratulate Matt Lass as well. Not only is it his second place ever, second step on the podium. This is the first time he's ever podiumed in XSLR, so huge shout out to him as well.
Well, another quick question. Early on in that race, an incident with Jake Ham happened. Did you make contact with the man?
I don't think so. I don't know kind of what happened. We're gonna go back and look at it for sure, because I was behind him, and I don't know if Jake was trying to move up. I don't believe I made contact with him. I don't know if he was trying to move up to get a bit of the side draft from I don't know who was on that second line up high, but there was no contact on my end. I don't think. Obviously, hindsight's always going to be 2020, and I'll go back and look at it and probably end up apologizing later. But right now, I don't think I made contact.
All right. Well, anybody you want to thank for the third place finish tonight?
Yeah, you guys, especially for carrying this on. And while I've been gone, I've had a lot of stuff going on, on the actual work side of things and personally as well. So the fact that you guys have decided to take the league back over again for another season makes me super happy to know that I, just because I gave the company up, you guys aren't leaving my league in the dust. So to you, Ron, Josh, JR, all the people that have commentated at all in XSLR, thank you so much. And Ron, massive shout out to you, buddy. You've been obviously doing more and more on the XSLR side of things. You got the producer role now, and yeah, man, you're killing it. So thank you so much for everything you do.
It may be killing my brain cells slightly. That I'm kidding. Obviously, I didn't have those in the first place.
Yeah, no, you didn't. You're from Philly, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Philly
Thank
slander
you.
continues. See, the thing is about all of this, if I want to, I can cut all the microphones and just speak to the stream myself.
You could, but you won't.
I did briefly.
That's true.
Oh boy.
Well, good to see you, Adam. Glad you're back, and we'll see you next week at Eldora.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your night.
Adam Thomsen, our third place finisher, the wet Thomsen, I should say. Well, Ron, any final thoughts after that one?
Well, it was a long night of racing action here at Talladega Super Speedway, but a fun day of action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. It's a big day here on SMB as well. We were on the iRacing Esports Network a little bit earlier on today with the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors 10th anniversary special race. Here, of course, with some XSLR to wind down the night of action here on SMB. And still have a lot of stuff to look forward to here on Slow Motion Broadcasting as the weeks run along. Now that we're firmly in to this brand new season here on SMB, have a lot of stuff to look forward to. I'll just pull up the graphic here, let you know that of course we've got XSLR just ran this race here at Talladega. Let's give that page a quick little refresh and you'll be able to see the updated information. There we go. Second tries a charm. Time flies when you're having fun. All that stuff. American Muscle Series running this upcoming Tuesday on September the 30th. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to catch me on production duties for the Sim Racers Group F4 Series at the Hungaroring later on that day. Interlagos going to be the host of the next race of the SRG F3 Series, and then next weekend, of course, we've got the Weekend Warriors action booking you out with the Formula V's running at the Saxon Ring on Saturday, October the 4th at 3:25 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on Sunday, Super Sundays here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, we have the Formula Fords running at Okayama, the Spec Racer Fords running their second round of the championship in the third week of this season. That'll be at Tsukuba on the 2000 layout, and then we're in your wheelhouse, Adam, with the brand new, I say brand new to me at the very least, Big Block Modifieds running at Eldora. That's all the action to look forward to here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, and that is going to be a very fun race to look forward to in 1 week's time.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Ron. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom of the video, and of course hit that notification bell so you just know when we go live, and you don't have to worry about going to a web page and for just searching us every single night. You can just hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get the 5,000 subscribers here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. Well, that will wrap things up tonight from Talladega Super Speedway and here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. My name is Adam Thomsen for Ron Maunz and everyone here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week from Eldora.